But let's start off with love-hate running backs, Matthew. Let's take a look at your running back ranks. 1 through 10, headlined by a guy who's not had a great season so far, but it's still upside. Ashton Jeanty comes in number 7. If you told me before the season that Ashton Jeanty was going to come in after Rico Dowdle on a running backs ranking, you would have thought very strange things. But Ashton Jeanty, there have been some signs of life, and he's getting a lot of usage, as we see his game log dating back to week 4, which is his best game of the season against the Bears. He had 22 touches against the Broncos. Didn't do a great deal with it relative to the workload, but gets up the end zone and scores 15 points.
Yeah, he was a superstar, if you remember that Thursday night game. Like, you know, again, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Like, and the usage, I think, Jay. Yeah, of course. There's one that maybe Lawrence won that one too.
By 2026, you won't be able to say that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, no, it's a good one.
So the usage, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to give some fantasy advice here.
Okay.
The usage, Jay, that you mentioned is sort of the key, right? To your point, since week 4, Ashton Jeanty averaging 19 touches per game. He's got a 15% target share. Here's why I bring up that number, 19 touches. Because he plays the Cowboys this week. And running backs that have seen at least 15 touches, just 4 measly touches less, Lawrence. Running backs that have seen at least 15 touches against the Cowboys this year are averaging 130 yards from scrimmage this year. So you're telling me Ashton Jeanty's averaging 19. Running backs that get 15 against the Cowboys get at least 130 yards from scrimmage. They've also given up at least 30 fantasy points to running backs in 4 of their past 6 games. So ergo, ipso facto, therefore, Ashton Jeanty makes the love list. He's my running back 7. I think he has a big game against Dallas.
Yeah, obviously you got to start Ashton Jeanty everywhere. Yes. I'd be a little concerned that the offensive line is basically me and Lawrence out there for the Raiders. They got many players left.
Yeah, you got faith though, because you saw him get a little better versus the Jaguars. Then they stunk against the Broncos. So I got enough faith in the offense.
Even in a game against the Broncos where everything just turned.
Yeah, right. He still was the one guy who
still got into the end zone. Still got you.
So against Dallas, gotta love it.
Yeah. We'll see what Dallas' defense does now that Quinnen Williams is in the middle. But regardless, you're starting Ashton Jeanty. Jammer 89, Jeanty better get no less than 25 touches or Chip Kelly better walk to Mexico.
Wow.
Mexico.
I don't think Chip would make it.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd make it on that walk.
Especially if he's walking.
Can you imagine Chip Kelly at the border and they're like, I'm sorry, but we've seen your offense. We don't want you over here.
We don't want you here.
Not.
Keep that over there.
Keep that over there.
Picturing Vince Vaughn at the end of season 2, a true detective walking in the desert. Didn't work out great for Vince there. Probably wouldn't either for Chip Kelly.
I was hoping, spoiler alert, I was hoping he'd make it. I was sort of rooting for Vince at the end of True Detective season 2.
I
understand why.
I didn't care by the end. It wasn't a great season.
It was not a great season, but I still sort of cared. I wanted him to make it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh well, a guy who is making it, Lawrence, is Rico Dowdle, who is now workhorse running back for the Carolina Panthers and gets Falcons run D that just gave up 244 yards to our man Jonathan Taylor.
I would sit here and say, you know what? He won't get 200 rushing yards. But Rico Dowdle has a 200-yard rushing game this season. But what we saw last week finally out of Rico Dowdle, that when he starts, he's just a regular man. He's mortal. He can be held under 100 scrimmage yards. It was the first time that he's been held under 130 scrimmage yards in the first game since he's been starting these games. But now going up against these Falcons, who allow the 5th most points to running backs in fantasy, Rico Dowdle gets a great matchup here. It's not a game where there's a crazy spread. He's going to get north of 20 touches, and you love that against this Falcons run defense who's light up front.
Yep. If you're watching Atlanta Falcons, it's time to cure the unseriousness around this football team. Like, this team's a mess. Like, you can't
load the box.
You can't go 3-7. Like, there's too much talent on this team to be 3-7 and win this game. And keep
if they do go to 3-7, if they do finish 3rd in the NFC South.
It could be 4th. They're only 1 game ahead of the Saints.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tyler Shuck has given them life.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Shucky.
I mean, are they cleaning house? Lawrence, you're a Falcons fan. Is Raheem Morris gone?
If they
signed Kirk Cousins to a $100 million deal. They used a top 12 pick on Michael Penix.
I gotta feel like something would probably be brewing there because look, you're finding ways to lose these close games. You had a chance versus the Patriots. You had a chance versus the Colts. You find ways to lose. Yeah. The better teams find ways to win. So now you get the Panthers, who just lost to the Saints. You have to win that game. That 30-0 blowout weeks ago. that doesn't matter anymore. You should be the better team.
Yeah, the Colts game, whatever. The Falcons played reasonably well in that game. The Patriots one, though, down there, you lost the game and basically cost yourself your season because someone snapped the ball to Michael Penix when he wasn't ready for it and took an intentional grounding penalty to effectively kill the playoff hopes. Cameron Aziz, hey guys, need to sit one running back in half PPR in a big matchup. Jeanty, James Cook, Rico Dowdle, Travion Henderson. It's Travion Henderson.
Now, listen, there's suggestions that Travion Henderson is going to get a big workload tonight, but I think, he's the guy that you feel less. I think all guys should have a good game this week, but Henderson is who I would sit here. There's just
for sure.
less of a track record, less certainty about his role.
I saw a humble brag as well, Cameron, having 3 of Matthew's top 7
The
running
thing
backs.
is, those other guys is definitely getting 20 touches.
Yep.
We don't know that for sure with Travion Henderson.
Indeed. A guy who might get 20 touches this week, Matthew, is Jalen Warren, who faces the great elixir in fantasy, the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
I mean, honestly, do I need to give analysis? I honestly,
don't have to.
You could just say, who's the running back playing Cincinnati? Good, I'm in. But fine. I hear you, America. I hear you screaming at the television set. I hear you listening to the podcast saying, no, Matthew. Barry, I'm begging you, please give me some bad Cincinnati Bengals stats. I got you, America, as well. Bengals give up 185 scrimmage yards to opposing backfields this season. 185 scrimmage yards. Lawrence, they give up 33.5 fantasy points per game to opposing backfields.
That's not even possible.
Yeah, it's crazy. When Jalen Warren played Cincinnati Week 7, he had 158 yards from scrimmage. He averaged 7.9 yards per touch. I'm not done. Cincinnati's given up at least 16.9 fantasy points to a running back in 4 of their past 6 games. 4 of their past 6. A running back's gotten at least 17. And so then now you've got Jalen Warren, who Kenneth Gainwell isn't even a thought. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to pass. Doesn't need to. He's got Cincinnati. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, the Bengals, they bone you unless you have a running back going against them, in which case...
They anti-bone you.
They're anti-bone you. Yes.
Either way.
Converted.
Unboned.
Yeah.
They unbone you.
Yep. No,
Yes.
all valid points. Matthew, one of the best things about betting is that when you have a lot of money on an outcome, you get really familiar with the characters that you're relying on.
Sure, of course.
And you just kind of develop a close connection and understanding. And we had a lot of money on the Houston Texans last week.
Yes, and I did. Yes, we did.
Against the Jags and their run defense. And I was stunned at the end of the game. What I was cheering for is, stop trying to feed Nico Collins. Let's just feed Woody Marks. Let's feed this rushing offense that the Jags cannot stop.
That's
They're
correct.
just doing whatever they wanted on the ground. And now Kamani Vidal gets this same Jags defense that is not in a good place at all. And since they stopped forcing a lot of turnovers, they've been a very mediocre defense. The Chargers are 3-point favorites in this game, ticking up as well. So I think they'll have game script. And Kamani Vidal is the clear number 1 in that backfield. Favorable matchup. So he's on the love list for me this week.
I like it.
Okay, let's jump to some others receiving votes.
Sure.
Headlined by Chase Brown, who's also in that matchup against the Steelers, which was an epic shootout when they played a few weeks ago.
He's in a matchup against the Steelers. He's in a matchup against producer Steven. For me, I think he does well here. Since Joe Flacco became the starter, he's the 11th best running back in fantasy football. 3 straight games with over 100 yards from scrimmage, playing 95% of snaps. Last week he got 100% of the Bengals running back touches. Now, Samaje Perine dealing with that ankle sprain. He did not practice yesterday. He left the game early. The expectation here at the moment of taping is that Perine does not play again this week, or if he does, he'll be severely limited. So Chase Brown, he's my running back 13. He should get a ton of work. How about Woody Marks, who you just mentioned, played 78% of the snaps last week, playing the Titans, who give up at least 16 fantasy points to a running back in 6 of the last 7. And finally, if you're desperate, how about Sean Tucker? Again, there has been a Bucky Irving sighting at practice, but it's still going to be Rachaad White and Sean Tucker. Over the last 2 weeks, Tucker's had 44% of the Buccaneers' running back rushes. He's gotten 50% of the team's goal-to-go rushing attempts. They like him when they get in close as well. And so this Buffalo Bills defense, you can run on Buffalo. They give them the 3rd most yards per carry to a punting running back. So I do think that, look, I have Tucker at 31. Let's be real. I have Rachaad White over him. But I do think he probably gets maybe 10, 12 touches in this game against the Bills and with a shot at a touchdown?
Yeah, if you could get like 8 to 10 fantasy points out of him in your start, like that's what you should expect. Anything over that is like, I started him. I'm lucky. That's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, we think we saw Bucky Irving at practice. The photo was so far away, it may have been a Bucky Irving mannequin.
Yeah, could have been somebody in a Bucky Irving jersey.
It was me.
Could have been a fan. Could have been Lawrence.
Lawrence Jackson.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.